Hello, welcome to my book club. Today we will be covering Arc 1, Gestation of Worm by Wildbow, otherwise known as John C. McCrae. Despite having started Worm about 3 times now, I've yet to actually finish it, so I started this project as a way to incentivize me to finish it. As I am already familiar with Worm, I will be using the web serial's vernacular. Terms like cape, an active parahuman, and individual powers, and the various PRT classifications, mover, shaker, brute, breaker, etc., will be used throughout the series. Um, Worm is a web serial that serves as a deconstruction and reconstruction of superhero stories. It is, to date, my favorite piece of superhero media. In this book club, I will be covering each arc of Worm, talking about the themes and motifs I find, what goals / motivations the main character has, and how the world is characterized. Now, let's begin. The protagonist of our story is Taylor Hebert, a 15-year-old girl going to Winslow High School. The story starts out with Taylor being bullied by 3 girls, Emma, Sophia, and Madison. During lunch, Taylor hides in a bathroom and gets juice poured over her by these 3 girls: cranberry juice, grape juice, and orange soda. The juice soaks into Taylor's backpack and destroys her journal, in which she had kept superhero notes. Towards the end of the first chapter, Taylor is confirmed to have bug control, both broad and fine. After getting juice, Taylor decides to head home early and reminisces over her lost relationship with Emma, who used to be her best friend. Taylor decides to turn a negative into a positive and go out as a cape this upcoming weekend. Over the next few days, Taylor preps her unfinished costume, dyeing some parts of it, getting lenses for a mask, etc., and finally heads out Sunday night, April 10th, 2011. As she is patrolling, she monologues internally about the Ain's Bad Boys, and a gang consisting of Asian minorities dominating the eastern half of Brockton Bay. They are led by Lung, a dragon-themed cape that can grow stronger as time passes and control fire, and Oni Lee, an Oni-themed cape that can teleport. As Taylor is patrolling, she comes across the ABB and gets in a fight with them after she overhears Long telling them to shoot children. The fight starts off in Taylor's favor, with her overwhelming the grunts and getting the jump on Lung, but quickly goes downhill as Lung's pyrokinesis lets him burn the insects around him and prevent them from attacking him. Soon after, a group of as of yet unnamed villains show up, with one of them using her massive van-sized dogs to fight Lung to a standstill and help beat him. These are later confirmed in a future arc to be the Undersiders, but as of yet, there is no name given to them. Soon after, a local prominent hero named Armsmaster arrives and convinces Taylor to let him take the credit for Lung's capture, in return for him owing her a favor. In an interlude at the end of the chapter, Danny Hebert, who is Taylor's father, watches a documentary on Scion and worries over Taylor, who has been gone all night. The chapter ends with him hearing her arrive and deciding to confront her in the morning. What are the themes and motifs of Worm? The biggest theme of Worm is bullying, and that it's bad. Shocking, right? Taylor is extensively bullied in the first chapter, and it is described in the second chapter how she's been bullied in the past. It is implied that this has been going on since high school started, and the story does a good job both telling you how she's been bullied in the present day and showing the ramifications of that throughout the rest of the non-school segments. Another theme that I've noticed is turning a negative into a positive. This is directly mentioned in the second and sixth chapters, and it seems like it will be an important theme going forward. It's the idea of, well, looking on the bright side of life. silver linings and all that. A third theme that I noticed is that of underdogs. Taylor sees herself as having a very weak power, and that and seeing herself being in a position of an underdog. She thinks that she is very downtrodden, and in a real sense, she is downtrodden and beaten down. But despite that, she is able to almost single-handedly take down a cape on her first night, only needing a little bit of help towards the end of the fight, which is a major accomplishment. And finally, directly stated in the interlude, but what I suspect will be a big thing going forward, such as turning a negative into a positive, is doing better than those that came before. Danny brings it up in the sense of him trying to be a better father than his father was. His father was stated to be a very aggressive and angry person who raised his voice and I believe hit Danny at least once. And Danny swore to do better than his father. And to his credit, it seems he has done a good job. He has never laid his hands on his wife or child, though he has raised his voice at his wife before, which he notes as being a major failing. What are the MC's Taylor's main goals / driving force? Taylor wants to be a hero. She deliberately holds herself back from using her powers to, as she says, go full carry on the school because she wants to be better than her bullies. Taylor wants to stop the Lung / the ABB. This is mainly an arc-centric goal. She just wants them to stop from shooting. She wants to stop them from shooting kids. And third, this is not a stated goal, but it is very implied. Taylor does not want to be helpless. Taylor, as I said earlier, is very downtrodden and very much an underdog. And it is very clear, to me at least, that Taylor wants to have a sense of power and help others so that she can feel like she is not helpless, that she has agency. How is the world characterized? It is very cool. Taylor is bullied and ostracized without any karmic justice. It is implied that most of the students and teachers are ambivalent at best to her plight, and no one tries to help her. Similarly, it is apathetic. Taylor is watched by others, but never helped. The scene that comes to mind specifically is on the bus that she rides home. She is specifically calls out that other people are watching her, soaked in juice, sitting on the bus, but no one tries to reach out to her. This third one's a bit difficult to put one word to. I decided on rich with a question mark, but Brockton Bay is described as one of the top 10 cities in terms of Cape populations. So it is very rich with strife and power. It's specifically described as a hotspot for villainy in the early 90s, coming from the shipping industry that it had. And the world is recently changed. It's in a new paradigm. Parahumans only popped up 30 years ago. The first parahuman, Scion, was first spotted in 1982, which sounds like a lot of time if you're, a person. That's like half the average person's lifespan. But in the terms of history, 30 years is really short. That's shorter than all of video gaming history. And video games are the youngest medium of media out there. That's like within the lifespan of some of the adults in the series. Characters like Danny Hebert probably were born before humans came to be. So parahumans popping up is still an ongoing issue. So, miscellaneous notes. 1. There's no Oxford commas, which bugged me. It's a nitpick, but it's a nitpick that I notice pretty frequently. Well, I say frequently. I noticed whenever it popped up. Number 2, Taylor is very self-deprecating and self-recriminating. I feel that that Wild Mode does a good job showing how someone who has experienced long-term bullying has a negative self-image. It will be established later in the series that Taylor's power and her general abilities are rather high. She has a strong power, and she has a very creative use way. She has creative ways to use that power. And because of that, she is able to accomplish a lot of deeds that most capes can't. But Taylor thinks that she has weak power, that bugs aren't that strong, and she views herself as a kind of eternal underdog, even in instances when she has the position of power, as we'll see later in the series. It is interesting, to say the least. Another thing is that powers are quite private. There is seemingly not a lot of information on the internet, and granted, this is 2011 internet, so it's not the bastion of knowledge that the modern day internet is, or was, but it should still have a decent amount of information. Google should be a thing by now, as should Wikipedia. But despite that, what Taylor knows about the powers of one of the bigger gangs in her city is that one can grow stronger and control fire, and the other can teleport. She does not even know that Lung has immunity to fire, which feels like it would be a pretty simple thing to confirm for someone who controls fire, but apparently it was not stated. So, powers are quite private. They don't seem to be talked about in explicit detail or described or studied in explicit detail, at least not by Taylor and whatever sources she comes across. Actually, I want to double check. This is Worm. Gestation 5. No, 4. 3. Sorry. Yeah, it doesn't state where Taylor gets her information from. I'm guessing, based on meta knowledge from later in the series, she gets it from Parahumans Online, a chat board, but that doubles as a wiki for parahuman activities, but I'm not certain. Finally, my final note, Lung is explicitly called out to be not an A-lister, and I find this very interesting, because with my knowledge of what happens later in the series, I know that he is one of the stronger capes on the board at the moment. He is a rather strong cape, and the fact that he is viewed not as an A-lister is very interesting to me. And based on what I know of his character, I think it's because of one thing. He's very slothful. He is a dragon who's content to sit on his hoard. He does not need to expand or fight or anything else. He just needs to hoard his wealth. And I find that very interesting. That would be all for the moment. Thank you for listening to me. I'm going to try and make this a weekly thing, but I know that later parts of Worm get pretty long, so this might turn into a bi-weekly thing. And that's all.